A lot of Canadians are bewildered by our seemingly incompetent government, but I am here to tell you that what Mark Carney and the Liberals are doing is an age-old tactic, divide and conquer, set up so that they can take more and more control, and Mark Carney and his global elitist buddies can leech absolutely everything out of Canada while the middle and lower classes continue to disappear. I'm going to give you two examples of how the Liberal government are intentionally disrupting our society in order to have a so-called crisis so that the Liberals can continue to implement things like CBDCs, 15-minute cities, all of these dehumanizing projects that they're currently working on. First of all, unfettered immigration. Carney continues to allow 500,000, at least 500,000 people into the country a year, when 75% of Canadians, you will not find any issue with his overwhelming support for no more immigration in Canada. Yet Carney continues to flood the country with immigrants, and the reason being he wants to overwhelm our systems. Cloward Piven strategy, well-known tactic from radical communists in the 60s, said flood the system in order to get radical changes, and that's exactly what they're doing. Our healthcare system is already under immense stress. Anybody who's had to deal with it in Canada knows we cannot afford to continue letting 500,000 people in a year, particularly when only 1 in 6 of the new immigrants are so-called high-skilled workers. Yet the Canadian government continues to do it without the consent of the Canadian people. That's why they want to flood our social services, flood our healthcare systems. It will never affect Mark Carney and his elite buddies. Who cares if a few 10,000 more Canadians die a year because of our healthcare system being overwhelmed? That's not really Mark Carney or the WF or Davos concern. So that's why they're flooding the country with immigration, is to intentionally overwhelm our system. They're also rolling out policies like asking immigrants to invite. They sent out messages to 18,000 immigrants asking them to invite their grandparents here, which is pure insanity, offering members of the LGBT community free a year in Canada, all expenses paid, which is pure and utter insanity. But it's all intentional. It's all done to overwhelm the system. Second piece is the two-tier justice system. We've all seen these insane rallies in our streets, disrupting our civilization day after day after day. Masked. I was never aware that you were allowed to walk around masked throughout the city in a threatening manner, but if you're supportive of a certain group, absolutely no issue. Our policing system has become absolutely two-tiered. If you are supporting vantage points that the Liberal government supports or that they purport to support, in reality they may well be using you as a tool. But if you support certain causes, yell whatever the heck you want, and the police will roll the red carpet out for you. Absolutely. Walk through our cities, disrupt our civilization, yell. So I saw a rally yesterday, saw some of the most vile stuff being yelled. If our Canadian government is so concerned about hate speech, they should really check out what's going on at these rallies. But certain rallies, you can say whatever you want. Other people, I'm already on my third social media account. I had 20,000 followers and I was banned. And I can guarantee you, anything that's coming out of my mouth is a hell of a lot tamer than what I saw at these essentially government-sponsored rallies. So, two-tier justice system where if you are spouting anything the government disagrees with you, posting something to Facebook, they'll lock you up. They'll ban you off social media. But if you're in real life, intimidating people with a mask on, getting in their face, if you're saying the right thing, hey, that's absolutely no problem. The goal is to divide and conquer. It's the oldest strategy in the book. They want people at each other's throats so that we won't notice that Carney and Brookfield are set to cash in to the tune of $25 billion on these so-called prefab houses that they want to get made. They want us to ignore the fact that Carney has spent his entire life working with the WF, Davos, and these global elite institutions. He hasn't even spent the majority of his adult life in Canada. This guy does not represent the interests of Canadians in any way. He is not pro-humanity. You look at the policies he's pursuing, he wants to turn us into a place to suck dry all the resources for global elites, and the rest of us plebs will just shut up and take our $2,000 a month universal basic income or whatever it is he wants to roll out. So Canadians, we need to open our eyes to the fact that this is no mistake by a government. This is fully intentional. And if we don't fight back, they are going to continue to roll out this insanity, and Canada is going to continue to degrade and degrade and degrade. If you're interested in supporting me, hit the link in my bio. I have some really good gear in my shop. I'm doing everything I can to get a movement going. I've already submitted several FOI requests to get more details on Carney's relationship with Brookfield. Going to be setting up rallies, setting up a website, because it's time for Canadians to put their foot down, say enough is enough. And we need to fight back and say, we see what you're doing, Carney, and Canada is a great country, a strong country. Our ancestors died in world wars for this country, and we're not going to just roll over and let some global elitist clown steal it from us.